Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we have another round of VTuber related drama to cover, but this one is very interesting for reasons you'll see play out in this video. We have a situation where we're witnessing an anti-reborn. We're going to see someone who used to harass others over fictional content apologize and change their ways. Yes, this is a very rare thing to happen on Twitter, especially in the VTubing scene. So let's get into it. Here is the main protagonist of today's story, a VTuber by the name of Camila. Now, recently she made this post celebrating a new follower milestone on Twitter, and this is a video of her VTuber avatar alongside Shigure Ui. Of course, this is a reference to Lolly God Requiem, a very pro Lolicon song that is approaching 100 million views on YouTube right now. And people were initially very surprised to see her embracing this song. A lot of people are like, I didn't know you were down like that. But that initial wave of support would turn into a lot of criticism when videos like this started popping up. You can see Curry Renji sharing this clip that I think was a very fair criticism at the time, by the way. And you can see here in this clip, it's about 5 minutes long, she would spend a lot of time harassing another VTuber over fictional content. Now, you'll also notice that I censored the name of this VTuber who was being harassed, and I'm doing that for a reason because I know that particular VTuber doesn't like this sort of drama stuff, and also she is on a hiatus for her health right now, and I don't think she needs any unnecessary attention, so I ask that you guys respect that. But all you need to know about her in this situation is that she is a lolly VTuber who back in February of last year was being attacked by people over a booba pose she made with her model, which is obviously flat because it's a lolly. And Camila back then joined in on the harassment. This video that is shared here is a very bad one. There's no covering this one up. There's no sugarcoating it. And Camila admits it. It's awful. She goes through it. She calls this VTuber pedo bait. She calls her disgusting. She even implies that she shouldn't have a platform. Very serious stuff, and also coupled with the fact that people were digging through Camila's likes and finding lolly stuff all over the place. Classic, your likes are public. Now, I would see a great deal of people attacking this post, obviously sharing that former clip and other things, and they wanted a response out of her. And I'm glad that I personally waited to see how this would play out because the disparity in the behavior is crazy. You know, going from one stance to a completely opposite stance in a little over a year. What's going on here? Well, I'm glad I waited because we would get a formal apology from Camila on Twitter, a few paragraphs talking about this situation and what she wants to do moving forward. And I have to say, overall, very good apology. And we're going to get into it in a second, but I was expecting a lot of people to be hostile towards this, to basically come out and lash out against her and not accept her apology. And I have to say, overall, the majority of the responses to this, and a lot of people are responding to this, have been positive. A lot of people are really embracing the fact that someone who used to be an anti has changed their ways and apologized for attacking people over fictional content. And let's get into the apology. So it starts here saying, "Hi, posting this because a lot of people are questioning me for posting the Lolly God Requiem video after I, admittedly, did attack a creator for liking that kind of stuff 2 years ago. When I started VTubing, I did not understand the culture in the slightest. I was mostly a cringe stan Twitter user, so coming into VTubing and anime culture, someone who had zero clue as to what anything was, I didn't understand anything when I first saw lolly stuff. I immediately assumed it was pedo shit." Now, here's the thing. This is a very fair thing to say, in my opinion, because a lot of people who are new into anime and VTubing on Twitter, they see how people treat fictional content and how they screech about pedophilia when it involves fictional characters and all this stuff. They might genuinely believe. I mean, look at the number of people who genuinely believe that lolly means age or means literal child. People really believe that because they're just not educated on the subject. They don't know that it's just a body type from fictional works in anime and manga. But continuing on, she says this, "Keep this part in mind as you're reading the rest. When I first started streaming, I had a bigger content creator convince me that drama equals content, so I should, in quotes, farm that shit." Yeah, that advice is horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I see the irony of me talking about drama and saying don't use drama for content. The reason people like me or people like Asmongold or Hero Hey, people like that, use drama and milk it for content is because we are all people who cover drama. I'm a drama tuber. It makes sense for me to milk drama. That's part of my audience, and that's why people are watching me. It makes sense for me. But if you're a regular VTuber or content creator and you're getting yourself into drama, it's not your regular content. It's not gaming or anything like that. It might get you some initial attention, but overall, it's just going to cause you problems, especially in the long run. And then things like this happen where you have this clip of you getting into drama floating around and years later causing you issue. It's just not worth it in the slightest. That's really bad advice. And that's one that V-tweeters and alike have been trying to do to get their careers going, but people aren't wanting to support them for their drama baiting. They want to get actual content. But moving forward, we have this saying, so me, still slowly coming out of my woke stan Twitter phase and entering the VTubing phase, I saw what a bunch of people were posting about a streamer on Twitter, and I immediately jumped the hate bandwagon because I wanted to take my friend's advice, which led to me calling out the girl live on my stream where her name had no business being there. Looking back at it, I wasn't even trying to criticize. I was just straight up bullying her and trying to deplatform her when I didn't even know who she truly is as a person. We have so many mutual friends in common, and anytime her name was brought up in idle chit-chat, I started feeling really bad because everyone had said nothing but nice things about her, and it became more clear and clear to me that she didn't deserve that. And I really do appreciate that she really takes all this stuff head on, doesn't try to sugarcoat it like, yes, I tried to deplatform someone. I was bullying her. It wasn't criticism. It was straight up harassment. And that is something that when people do make rare attempts to apologize about this stuff, you'll see them kind of try to play off things like, oh, I was emotional, or it was just a criticism I was attempting. No, I mean, she gets right to the point. It was bullying. That's what she was doing. She was jumping on a hate bandwagon to try to get some drama content out of it, and it was just bullying, and it wasn't nice. So this is honestly something good to see here. But she continues on saying, as for apologizing to her, I've reached to a mutual friend of ours back in February because her DMs are closed in an attempt to send my apology to her. Said friend told me that she wasn't answering DMs because it was clear she was going through something at the time. After I started gaining experience in streaming over the year, I've learned so many things. You'd actually have to be mentally inept to do what I did over a year ago. It's just rude, unnecessary, and disrespectful. I know that now. And if somehow this message gets to you, I am very sorry for what I did. I didn't know you, and yet I attacked you without even educating myself with who you truly are. My behavior was unacceptable. I will continue to learn how to be a better person. Side note, I hope you feel better with what you're dealing with at the moment. It sounds rough, so please take all the time you need to heal. You have so many people who love and appreciate you that will be waiting for you with open arms. And like I was referring to, this VTuber she is apologizing to is on a hiatus for her health right now, and that is something a lot of people have been watching and hoping the best for her in that situation, a speedy recovery. But here's the end of the apology. It says this. And sorry to those who I upset with my previous post. As I've delved deeper into the world of VTubing, I've gained a better understanding of anime culture. I've come to understand that characters with youthful appearances are common across media forms. I've come to appreciate their innocence without any negative implications. I've pretty much adopted an entirely new outlook on this subject. In conclusion, not the same person who I was 2 years ago. I hate her too. I hope you can give present me a chance. If not, that's okay too. Have a nice day. So like I said, this has been received with an overwhelming positive response because of the honesty and the openness and the accountability that she took in this apology, something that is very rare on Twitter and especially in the VTubing scene. And here's some of the most liked reactions to this apology. This person saying, oh my God, we got a genuine apology on Twitter. Here's another one saying, I honestly respect this. If only more people would make apologies like this. I'm not mad at you, and I still have respect for you. Here's another one saying, an actual good apology from a former auntie in this economy? Damn, that was not on my bingo board, but good for you. Owing up to your mistakes, admitting you are wrong, and accepting your faults takes courage. Bravo, wish you success moving forward. And of course, there was people attacking her, but these were like a bunch of gnats trying to sting at once. Like no one's paying attention to these tweets. The most liked ones, I believe, have about 20 likes. You see the typical Dragon Ball memes here with, these users not even realizing that Dragon Ball has lolly and Shota in it. You have people making wild claims that this is about pedophilia instead of drawings and all this other stuff, misunderstanding what Lolly God Requiem is, trying to claim that that song was actually criticizing lolicons, which is crazy, calling her a lolly gooner, which is a very weird thing to say about someone, and also some low-key xenophobic responses about Japanese culture, but that's to be expected, and honestly, I don't want to waste my time on these people more than I already have. But moving forward, there are some more rational-based criticisms that had to be addressed. This one was something that a lot of people were responding with, basically trying to claim that she initially doubled down on the criticism she was facing after people discovered those old clips of her. And there was a video, a now deleted tweet, where basically there was a song playing, she doesn't say anything. At the end of the clip, she flips off the camera. And people thought that was her doubling down on this situation and basically trying to ignore the people criticizing her for being potentially hypocritical on these subjects. And she would directly acknowledge as saying, "I owe an explanation to this, the initial response. The one with me being petty was in response to those who were literally sending me death threats. I was trying to show them that I wasn't afraid. I took it down because I realized it wasn't the proper way to react. And so I decided to do the mature thing and actually own up to my mistakes," which I think is a pretty understandable reaction, not really something that I think is really a big deal either way. And she made the proper correction to the situation as many people view it. And of course, you would see a lot of people refer to the fact that this happened 1 to 2 years ago, right? And a lot of people are like, why did you wait so long? But I think based on the evidence that we can see, this is something that's been brewing at least for a couple of months. You can see the actual screenshot of her message trying to reach out to this VTuber, where of course you can see it's dated in February of this year, early February. It's been basically 3 full months since she tried to reach out in private. And also I saw this series of interactions involving the VTuber Annie, where people before the apology were trying to stir stuff up, and she would have this response about the situation saying, "You have zero idea what's going on behind the scenes, and you're attacking someone for a thing that was already discussed and blown over more than a year ago. If you don't change as a person in such a long time and keep attacking someone over old shit, I have bad news for you." You can see based on like the deleted post, people after the apology came out had a different view on things. And what she's saying here is definitely corroborated by the timing of the initial private apology. And also, I think doing a public apology in the situation is also helpful because not only are you trying to help out the situation in private, but this was something that became public. I mean, it's a public clip from her Twitch stream, and people have this view of the situation, and they need some more answers. I mean, these are some popular VTubers. They have a lot of fans and people interacting with their content. I think it's important to know where everyone stands in the situation to clear up more confusion. So I think having both private and public apologies, definitely a good thing in this situation. And also wanted to raise this. I'm glad this user reminded me of this situation. I had totally forgotten about this. There's more proof that Camila had been changing her ways long before this apology post. This situation right here happened back in January, where the VTuber Hexa was getting canceled by a bunch of V-tweeters and virtue signalers in the VTubing scene over some edgy jokes she made, which also involved lolicon stuff. And I've known Hexa for like 4+ years. Like, she's very pro-lolly and she's vocal on it when she needs to be. And a lot of people were very surprised to see Camila back in January of this year coming to the defense of Hexa and mocking the VTubers trying to raise a stink about these jokes and related topics like lolicon, which, yeah, caught a lot of people by surprise. And some VTubers and a lot of these virtue signalers, they were mad at Camila. They felt betrayed that she was defending someone like Hexa with, her views on stuff like lolly. And of course, I want to reflect the reactions to all this with my own tweet. I kind of mentioned it here, basically, that having someone like Camila, who's a larger indie VTuber, who does have a lot of influence, by the way, having her own up to situations like this, apologize for her past behavior, and try to change her ways and stop virtue signaling about fictional content is huge. And I hope this encourages other people to do the same and to change their ways and take accountability for harassing people over fictional content, because there are a lot of people who wholeheartedly have the same views as people like Camila do now, where they just don't really care about this stuff one way or another, but they're afraid to speak out about it, or they're afraid to even announce that they're changing their ways, or to apologize to people because they feel like they're going to get eaten alive on Twitter. And I definitely think if this apology and this whole situation involved a smaller VTuber, they would have gotten dunked on. They would have been called all kinds of terrible things. The negative reaction would have been a lot stronger. But because Camila is more established and bigger, I feel like that kind of changed the narrative. And a lot of people were more afraid to go after her. And also it encourages more people to say, hey, if someone as big as that can talk about this, maybe it can be something normal for me too. And I want to reflect the lack of outrage, or at least the expected amount, with my response, okay? So this is a tweet talking about lolly stuff. I have 3,000 likes, and as of right now, 2 quotes. Normally, if I talk about lolly in any sort of a way, I expect 30 to 50 quotes on the tweet easily with that much attention, calling, me all sorts of slanderous things and what have you, but only 2 on this one. And I'll show you the 2. One person trying to make this about pedophiles instead of the fact that this is about drawings. And of course, I do a classic "your likes are public" moment where you have an underage character like Ryoko from Kill la Kill in fishnets. And then you have this person tweeting God knows what. Basically, this had to be sent from an asylum somewhere. I have literally no idea what they're talking about. But that's the only backlash on my tweet. And that just goes to show the impact of someone like Camila talking on this issue can have. I know there's a lot of V-tweeters and a lot of virtue-signaling VTubers out there who are fuming about this situation, but they're not speaking out because they feel like the reaction to this has been very positive and they would be risking a lot for themselves to say anything negative right now. And at least for the moment, that's the case. But if you want to see the reaction to this, look through the quotes. There will be some negative stuff, but the overwhelming majority of that negativity is from random users who are getting 2 likes on their tweets. You will be very hard pressed to find VTubers in those quote retweets saying something negative about this situation. And yeah, that just goes to show, like I said, the influence. But for now, that is going to do it for this video. Like I said, a good situation. And also one more thing I just remembered that I want to address here. Some people are like, well, I'm not sure if I should give you a second chance. Well, I encourage people to give people like Camila a second chance because it might encourage other people to apologize and take accountability for harassing people over fictional content. And on top of that, guys, do you think if she switched up and started saying more anti-stuff, she wouldn't face the wrath of so many people? Like, she knows this. If she makes this kind of a turnaround on her views of these topics, she can't go back. If she went back, she would be attacked from a million different directions, okay? We know that. So she understands basically the situation she's putting herself in by making this change in her stance known publicly. She's asking for accountability, and she's going to get that. And if she continues this way, that's awesome. I'm glad to see someone change their ways and take accountability. This is a good thing. There's rare W's in situations like this, and I think this is definitely a W. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.